This is Derek, and I am coming back at you with another wargaming and miniature video. In this video, we're going to continue on with my 100 Years War project updates. It's been a little while since I had finished painting these, about 3 days. So I just haven't had the opportunity to record this video. All right, so now what I'm going to do is kind of just briefly go over what I've been working on towards my 100 Years project. As you know, I had put my American War of Independence project on hold because I wanted to do something a little different, a little variety is the spice of life kind of thing. And I wanted to see how far I could get with my 100 Years War project. Now, what I'm currently working on is a Burgundian force. As you've seen, I've already done the Burgundian archers and crossbowmen. And now I've decided to jump into the Burgundian Knights. You'll notice that, you might not notice, but I'm going to explain. The center two are actually the Knights, and the outer two are what are called Castiliers. They would be their attendants or squires or guys coming up the ranks to become knights, etc. They all have the caparison blankets over their horses, and the knights have the armored horses. Now, because the Burgundian Knights and the Castiliers are given the charging lancer special ability, I needed to put lances with each of the bases. And now with the Knights, what I tried to do was 2, and with the Castiliers I put 1, because the Burgundian starter army that I got was 50-50 with the hand weapons and the lances. Now I guess I could have bought some knights with just lances and filled it up that way, but since I already had the Burgundian starter army from Old Glory, I thought I'd just go ahead and use the figures that I got. Plus, I don't think there's any problem knowing that these guys are all going to be charging lancers. That's not a problem. Now, the little big men medieval shield, what do you call it? Transfers or decals. That took quite some time to get those all cut out and affixed to the shields, but I think they look really good now that they've been attached. Some of the shield decals also came with caparison decals so that you could put them on the barding, but a lot of those were too large. So what I picked and chose which ones I thought would be best. Some of them I didn't bother with, and some of them I had to cut so that they would fit next to the saddle and things like that. Now I did use the mud. It's from AK. No, it's not. It's from MIG. It's the MIG mud, and I noticed that they have a few other ground textures. I might try a lot of them, but I do love the fact that this mud comes out looking wet, and it also comes out at a good brown color, not the gray that's in the bottle. And then I also use the WWS static grass again. I think I'm going to do all my Burgundians like this just to keep the army uniform with their, their texture, their base colors, so that the army will definitely look cohesive. Okay, now this is only the first unit of knights. I did a couple more. Now let me show you the next group. All right, now this is the second group of knights that I did. Basically, I did exactly the same thing. I did the 2 bases of knights and then 2 bases of Castiliers, and I spread out the lances in the same way. Now remember, these are 15 millimeter Old Glory men-at-arms, but men-at-arms are basically knights. And you'll notice there's a larger variety of shields and comparison colors. Let's get another pass here. All right, now let's show you the third set of knights. All right, this is the third and final group of knights. And of course, they're all organized exactly the same way. I put the knights on their armored horses, 2 lances. The Castiliers are caparisoned, barding with 1 lance. And every shield should be unique across all 3 units. The standard that I use for each of these should match at least one of the guys in the unit, because the little banners or what have you. Now their lance ribbons, I varied the colors between yellow, red, and blue. I guess that's about it for these guys. The force composition of the medieval Burgundians have a minimum of 2 bases of knights and a minimum of 2 bases of Castiliers. But you could have up to, I think it's 6 bases of knights, and maybe it's 8 bases of Castiliers or something like that. But units are in units of 4. So if you buy just 2 knights, you can't field just 2 knights. You have to have 4 knights, or you can combine 2 Castiliers and 2 knights to form your unit of 4 bases. And that's what I've done here. I maximize the knights, which are 6 bases, and then I just went ahead and did 6 bases of Castiliers, which is all the men-at-arms figures that came with the starter set. Actually, that's not true. I probably could do another base or 2, which I might do later, but I also might use those figures on my command stands just to flesh them out. I haven't really gotten to that yet. All right, now let me adjust the camera and zoom out a little bit, and I wanted to show you what I'm currently working on. All right, so I'm working on 2 units of Low Country Pikemen. These are also from the Old Glory Burgundian starter army. 15 millimeter Low Country Pikemen. I put 6 on a popsicle stick just like I normally do, but these guys are based 4 per base, but the units are in 6 bases. So 4 of these would be 6 bases, and 4 of these would be 6 bases. There was 1 extra figure in the pack, which is good because I'd left one of these guys out, and I had put him in the setup. But when I went to clean the models, I realized that this guy's left hand is deformed. It can't hold any kind of pike or anything. It's just, it's like it's been mangled. So I went ahead and pulled the figure that I wasn't going to use and put it back in because its hand was just perfectly fine. And then I went through and used my pin vise to drill out the hand, the upper hand, the forehand, the left hand, the one gripping the pike from the highest. And then I was going to drill out the bottom hand so that when I put the pike in, I would be able to put it through both hands. But the right hand, which is low and close to the hip of the pikeman, was hard to get to, and it was hard to get a drill to it. So I opted not to worry about it. And what I've done is I put the pike in through the hand, and then I pushed it up as close to the body as I could, and just underneath the hand of the right hand, so that it would have some stability and whatnot. And the bottom of the pike I put around knee height. I didn't have it go all the way to the ground or stop at the hand. I had it go like around the knee. And then I looked up online, a low country Burgundian pikeman would carry a pike somewhere between 4 and 5 meters long, which that's a good length, right? 5 meters. You're looking at what, about a 15-foot length of pole. So what I wound up doing was cutting these guys down to just under or right around 35 millimeters. So that's how long I went with my pikes. I like them to be a little longer than probably they're supposed to be, because I don't want them mistook as spearmen, because there are units of like low country spearmen as well as low country pikemen. So I wanted to make sure that these were and looked much like pikes, kind of like the Sarissa on my Macedonians. And I came into another problem, because these come with the wire to make the pikes. But when you cut them, I was cutting them close to in half, right? And then putting them on these 48 models. And I came about, I don't know how this happened, but I came about 3 models short. So I remembered that I had some wire of my own right here. I have some wire that I bought on Amazon about a year and a half ago, specifically for my Macedonian pikemen or any other pikemen that I might need wires, or even spears for like my Triarii or anybody really, right? So I bought them, and this is 0.6 millimeters in diameter and cuts pretty easily. I just use a simple wire snip them to the right length, and yeah, and you get like 20 rods for $8, something like that. It winds up being about 40 cents per rod, and the rods are 50 centimeters long. 50 yeah, 50 centimeters long. So it's a good amount. Um, if you're ever doing pikes or spears. And so that's where they're, and then I went ahead and just sprayed them with a metallic because they're almost all fully armored. So now I just need to go through and paint some pants because I think the pants are exposed. Some of the jackets, not very many, about maybe 1/3 of them might have tunics on, and then I just do the flesh on the face, and they're pretty much done because, gauntlets and, oh, I got to do belts and swords and stuff like that, but some details. And of course, the pikes themselves. And I did not put any kind of leadership, like musician or any of that, in with these groups. But I think on one of the pikes, for each of the 2 units, on one of the guys where his pike is almost straight up and down, I think what I'll do is I'll put some kind of banner or a streamer or something like that on them. So there will be 2 of them carrying a streamer of some kind. But now I got to look up the uniforms for the Low Country Burgundians to see if they had any specific tunic colors or anything like that. So that's my next step. But that's what I'm working on. I should be done with these in a couple of days. And when I get done with them, I'll show you what they are. And all right, so you saw the knights. You saw where I'm working on these Low Country pikemen. I still have other things that I need to do, like my dismounted knights. I still have to do those. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do any handgunners or cannons or the Italian knights. I've decided to do, I think it's Philip the Good, around 1431-ish time, because the Meg Army List breaks down which units can be used depending on what time, what era you're using, and I want to use some of these unusual units. So I thought that it would be 1431 would be the widest selection of units to use. Yeah, and my knights, anything after 1420, I have to downgrade half of the knights to average from superior, because I guess they lost quality later on. So yeah, I'll try to figure all that out, and I'll show you that once I get everything completed, and I show you my army list. All right. Well, thanks for coming out and checking out this video, and I will definitely catch you in the next one.